Everybody, I'm Marcus.
All right.
And together, we are the
Northwest Sports Fanatics.
What a weekend for football, college football, and also the NFL. First off, we got to touch on Alabama versus Texas A&M.
Johnny Football.
Johnny Football. You know, I had doubts, is he going to come back this year? Is he going to do it again? And Johnny Football, you're definitely making me a believer. One of the greatest individual performances that I've seen in a while, and also one of the best games I've seen in a while as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, winning the Heisman twice, everyone would make fun of the idea, it never can be done. But if you look at all the players, Mariota's second right now, and even being an Oregon fan, he doesn't deserve to win it. He's not even ready for the NFL yet. His completion percentage isn't there yet. So you can tell if you look at running, passing, completion, using his head, and there's no one that's on his level. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater, but he still can't run like Johnny Football.
No, he definitely can't. So who you taking number one pick? Football or Bridgewater?
Right. To be honest, Johnny Football. I'd have to go. I didn't maybe think that, maybe a couple weekends ago, but after watching Alabama, if you can not beat Alabama, but put up that kind of numbers against Alabama. I've never seen a team put up that many points on Alabama, and you were down 42-21 in the fourth, and most teams would put their head down, and he didn't. He almost rallied them back to the W.
Hey, Johnny Football, you got my vote for the Heisman out there. It's a salute to you. We're going to go on to the NFL, some of our top performers. I'll start on the offensive side of the ball, and it hurts me again because one of the top offensive players put up numbers against my team.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Discount double check out there. Aaron Rodgers, he had a huge game. 34 for 42, 480 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he just torched my skins out there, man. We made us look terrible. He had a video game performance.
Yeah.
So the kind of the performance I put on Narducci when we playing Madden. So next, I'm gonna go out to Philly. Michael Vick, even though they lost the game, he still had a very efficient and solid game. 23 for 36, 428 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the heartbreaking Week 2 loss to San Diego. If he can continue to put up them type of numbers, I see a lot of victories there in the future for the Eagles there, as much as it hurt me to say it. But also in the same game, we got Phillip Rivers from San Diego. Talks of, is he done, or is he ever going to be the same?
Is he washed up?
Yeah. He had a strong outing on the road at that. After the heartbreaker to the Texans in the first week, he bounced back. 36 for 47, 417 yards, 3 touchdowns in the upset win over Philadelphia out there in Philly. And last but not least, I'm going to go for my quarterbacks. I'm going to go with Matty Ice. Matt Ryan, he had a solid game. Everybody expects him to when is he going to take the next lead to the Tom Brady, to the Drew Brees.
Right.
And he does it in the regular season, but, the second season he kind of lets you down. 33 for 43, 374 yards, 2 TDs, and a hang-on win over the Rams. Now, next, I'm going to go to the running back position. Your man, Dougie.
Doug Martin.
Teach me how to Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. And he came up with 29 carries, 144 yards, with an amazing 5 yards a carry average. Too bad y'all couldn't hold on for that win. Yeah. But with him running for a game like that, is heading in the right direction. I think those are the amount of carries that he needs. You got to feed the Duckster, man, out there.
Feed the Dougie.
Next, I got to go with another player against my team, James Starks. Who is this guy?
James Starks.
I guess he's beast mode against the Redskins. 20 carries, 132 yards, 1 touchdown. He gave Green Bay their first 100-yard rusher in 4 years.
4 years.
4 years, bro. I can't believe it, man. Come on, Hazlitt. What we doing out there? Next up, I'm going to go to one of my milk carton players, Darren McFadden. He's been on the milk carton for me for years, ever since, his second year in the league?
Yeah.
Well, he had a big game, 19 carries, 129 yards. Well, it was against the Jaguars, so 6.8 yards per carry in the win over the Jaguars gave Oakland a first win. Now, let's see if you can keep it up, man, because we all know he has the talent to be a top 5 back in the league. But you got to stay healthy out there.
Yeah, more than 8 to 10 games a season.
Next up, I'm going to go to my all garbage time player. Well, the second player on my all garbage time team, Alfred Morris. Big Al, I don't mean to dog on you like that, but 13 carries, 107 yards. You're part of the garbage time all-stars. I just wanted to give you that shout out. Hope you looking and maybe that could inspire you there. Now I'm gonna head on to the wideouts. I have to go with D-Jack, Deshaun Jackson out there in Philly. You know, Vic had a big game, and so that also means D-Jack had a good game. 9 receptions, 193 yards. 21 yards per catch.
Yeah, maybe the fastest wide receiver in the NFL. Can't be stopped.
That's amazing, man. He get on them fly routes and he's just gone, man. See ya. Me, like the road run out there.
Right.
You know, they lost, but it wasn't because of D-Jack. He definitely did his job. Next up, I got to go down to the ATL, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
11 receptions, 182 yards, 1 touchdown, and I'm kind of really evaluating my second best wide receiver in the league, him or AJ, man. That's too close to call right there. Third, I got to go to Jimmy Graham, tight end from the Saints. 10 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. Big game in the road win. Most of it came on that one huge blown coverage touchdown that they had. But, you know, you're a tight end. You get 10 receptions for 180 yards, 179 yards. I got to give you your props. Next up, I'm going to go Eddie Royal. Who? Eddie Royal. 7 receptions, 90 yards, 3 touchdowns. He has a league-leading 5 touchdowns. Who would have thought that?
Right.
You know, he's giving them what they paid Robert Meacham to do. You know, they cut Robert Meacham, but Eddie Royal is giving them that spark. Last up, I'm going to go Megatron out there in Detroit, Calvin Johnson. 6 receptions, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. They lost a close game to the Cardinals, but Megatron is well on his way to kind of duplicate that season that he had last year and possibly try to go for 2,000. Shout out to Brandon Marshall. You had another solid game as well, 7 for 113, 1 TD. And shout out to one of the players that my man Rick Gatewood worked with, Austin Pettis. AP, you had a great game there. 8 receptions, 78 yards. You got in the end zone too, and that's what Rick said you do. You catch touchdowns. So we want to give you a shout out there in Northwest Sports Fanatics. Good game, AP. Keep up the good work, and hopefully you'll be in the wide receiving column for us in the weeks to come. Now, what about on the defensive side of the ball, right?
All right. Well, before we go to defense, we got to shout out Swaggy P for the Colts. So we had a huge blockbuster trade that happened probably about a half hour ago.
Breaking
news right now, right? So when you watch this, Trent Richardson, right, one of the probably top 10, 12 running backs, rookie last year on Cleveland, has just got traded to the Indianapolis Colts. Are you kidding me? How do you trade your top 5 pick and
after 1 year,
you
just gave up on them, and you trading them away. But I guess that's why the Browns are the Browns.
Exactly. But what does that say for Browns fans and the Browns organization? They are trying to quote unquote tank this season, maybe with Jacksonville to get maybe quote unquote Johnny Football or Teddy Bridgewater.
I can see that.
It makes you wonder because if with him maybe 4 games, but if you lose Trent Richardson, how many games are you going to win? Maybe 1. Maybe 2, and
they might be goose egging it,
right? And Whedon's not playing. You got Brian Hoyer, who you haven't got quarterback this weekend. So we got to shout out the Colts. You know, now we got Andrew Luck. You obviously got Trent Richardson. What a great pair for years to come, right? You got Hayward Bay, Reggie Wayne, T.Y. Goodbye Hilton, Dwayne Allen, even though he's out for the year with the hip problem, but you got him in the future, right? So you got a nice nucleus there. You just need to build on that D and that O line, but watch for the Texans to be shaking in their boots here pretty soon. Colts are taking over, but we got to shout out Swaggy P, obviously with that huge pick. I'll go to defense now. First person I have to go to is Mr. Super Mario Williams, former number 1 pick, of the Texans. You got traded to the Bills. Or he got actually picked up by the Bills with obviously that free agent move. Lots of money they paid this guy. We kind of thought he was on the milk carton, but he proved me last weekend that he's legit. He had 6 tackles and a franchise record for the Bills over the Panthers. Now I'm going to say this, and you're not going to believe me: 4.5 sacks in 1 game. Some guys don't even get that in a full season. 4.5 sacks in 1 game. So obviously he's pacing for 15 to 20 sacks already. So shout out to Mario Williams. You're off my milk carton. And obviously I have you up there now, obviously on that Pro Bowl level. And I'll never talk bad about you again, Mario. You the man. Next, I'm going to go to my Pick 6 crew. Pick 6 crew who got you touchdowns, obviously maybe in a win or a loss. First, I got to go with Mason Foster.
Mason.
Right, from the Bucks. He had 85-yard interception for a touchdown, 3 tackles. Against the Saints, it wasn't enough for me to get that victory, but it was really funny to watch a linebacker run for 85 yards for a TD. But, good looking out, Mason. You're playing great. Good leadership skills from you. Next, I got to go to the next one, Osi. Osi Umenyiora, right? He had a nice little 68-yard interception for a touchdown. Who thought Osi could even run? I mean, it wasn't pretty, but, you got into the end zone, obviously against the Rams, and that helped you win, obviously, against them over the weekend. So shout out to Osi. You're still doing it, even though we kind of thought you were too old for it. And last but not least, last pick six, obviously, of the pick six crew, Tim Jennings. You're doing it every week, just like Peanut Tillman. You had a 44-yard touchdown interception, 4 tackles on top of that as well. What a great player. And obviously that helped you get that victory against the Vikings, which kind of went back and forth in that morning game. So shout out to you 3 players for taking it to the house. Next, I'm going to go to my 2-sack crew. It's okay when you get 1 sack in a game, but when you get 2 sacks or more, you're top notch. Right. You're making plays for your team, helping your team win. But sometimes even when you get your 2 sacks, you're not winning the game. But you still got to be shouted out. So first, I got Alden Smith. 49ers, one of the best players in the NFL, 2 sacks. It wasn't enough for your Niners really to get anything going against the Seahawks. But obviously you can tell when he's on that edge, if Okung's not in the game, you're in trouble. So when the Niners have that home game, watch for maybe the reverse to happen. Maybe 49ers will beat up Seahawks at home. But he had 6 tackles. Obviously a great performance from him. Next, I got to go to one of my favorite players in the league, Ryan Kerrigan. Now, you didn't really get the W, right? With Green Bay, but 2 sacks, 5 tackles, very young, good motor. Reminds me of kind of a Jared Allen. Never's going to quit. So look for him to keep moving forward in the sack totals, and I assume he'll have somewhere between 12 and 15 this year. Nice, solid effort from him. Next, I got to go to the Texans. Brian Cushing and J.J. Watt both had 2 sacks, and they had 16 tackles combined. Ooh. So if you got 16 tackles and 4 sacks, to me, that's a W almost every time. So good performance from them. Obviously, you had DeAndre Hopkins on the offense.
Big play.
Obviously make that big play. Shout out to him. Great play, obviously helping you win. Next, I got to go to the Colts. Jarrell Freeman, one of the most underrated linebackers in the league besides Derek Johnson.
Not too many people know about
him. Right, Jarrell Freeman, he's a great player. Watch out for him and Robert Mathis, the OG. Both of them had 2 sacks each and a combined 11 tackles. So obviously they came up a little short against Miami, but obviously not due to them. They had great games themselves. And last but not least, I got to shout out the best defense at home, Seattle Seahawks. Wow, what a performance you showed. Niners, played really good in week 1. Got the W. Seahawks kind of barely won in Carolina, so people thought, it's not going to matter if the game's in Seattle. Well, if you watch that game, Niners put up 3 points in the whole game. Man. That's not enough to go to the Super Bowl and win. So 49ers, if you want to make the Super Bowl, you better pray Seattle doesn't get home field advantage, because if they get home field advantage, it's a wrap. They're going to be able to make the Super Bowl, but Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Richard Sherman all had an interception.
Mouth.
Right? The best trash talker in the league, Richard Sherman, right? So Kaepernick couldn't get away from them. And you had Michael Bennett from the Bucks and Cliff Averill from the Lions.
Came back off of injuries.
Right, both of them. Right, both of them came back from injuries. They both had a sack. So everybody's contributing on that Seattle defense. I just got to give a shout out. The best defense in the league at home, Seattle Seahawks.
All right, and so before we go, I just want to give y'all a couple of games to look forward to in the NFL. I want to start with the 2-0 Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They sitting at 1-1, and this is the return of Andy Reid.
Andy Reid
back to Philadelphia, where he spent his first 14 years of his head coaching career. Expect excitement, expect emotions, expect energy. And they also retiring Donovan McNabb's jersey.
Right, and don't expect too many boos. More cheers for these 2 guys. I mean, these guys really built the franchise.
Yeah, they meant a lot to that Eagles franchise up there in Philly. And I expect that to be a real good game.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs already said they want to win this for Andy. And Deshaun Jackson said he's not going to let Andy come in there and get a victory from him. Yeah. So I expect it to be a good game tomorrow night. Y'all check that out. And also on another note, speaking of players returning home, Houston versus Baltimore. Ed Reed is returning back to Baltimore. The legend is going back to Baltimore. I know it sounds funny saying that, but he's returning home. Is he going to play? Is he don't play? We don't know. I guess it's going to be a game time decision. But those are just 2 games that I want you guys to look out for, and with huge returns from the visiting team.
Yeah, absolutely. One last thing we want to mention, if you are a fan of UFC, Bone Jones
Oh yeah,
right? Big fight this weekend.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
we had the Mayweather fight. We watched that. I don't know really what to think of that. It was a little not boring, but you expected a little bit more excitement in that. But I think with this UFC fight this weekend, if you don't watch UFC and you want to start getting into it, you better watch this pay-per-view because Bone Jones arguably is the best UFC fighter right now in the UFC period.
Oh yeah, you definitely check that out on Sunday. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, MarcusHill_NWSF.
And Orion_NWSF.
Hit us up on Facebook.com/NW Sports Fanatics.
We want to shout out our sponsors. We want to appreciate the love that we're getting. And share our page if you like it. Tell a friend. Get your other friends on Facebook to like it. We're trying to get more likes to represent out here.
Yeah, please share their page for us out there. Shout out to my man Banner Bob for the banner in the background. Hit him up at designshack.net. Also, follow us on Instagram at NW Sports Fanatics. One more shout out to my man Richard Greatwood. I see you out there, bro. Thanks for all the love and support. Hit Richard Gatewood up on leadingedgeadvantage.com. Make sure y'all check that out. I'm Marcus. This Orion.
And together we are Northwest Sports Fanatics.
Follow that page. Share it. Like it. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Share it.